the start time of our meeting. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to just humbly remind everyone to please silence your phones. Would appreciate it. And if you're wondering why I'm bringing this up, I'm just trying to buy some time really quickly for no particular reason, but just to wish you all a very merry day. All righty, perfect. Thank you. So here we are, and Madam Clerk, I'd like to ask you to please call the roll.
Councilmember Elliott,
Present.
Councilmember Camarena,
Present.
Councilmember Marroquin,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Carter,
Present.
Mayor Oliva.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Perfect, thank you. If I could please ask Councilmember Elliott to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. That's okay. Do you mind?
Certainly. Hand over your heart. Ready to begin? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And may I ask, I know I didn't ask before, but Councilmember Camarena, would you like to do the invocation this afternoon? Thank you.
Well, Father God, we just thank you for this time of meeting. We pray for your guidance, your wisdom. Help us, Lord God, to make decisions that will benefit your people, Lord. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Thank you, colleagues, for your assistance. Appreciate it. All right, so next we move on to the city attorney report on closed session. Madam City Attorney, is there anything to report?
In fact, Mr. Mayor, there is a report from closed session if you'd like to make an announcement about the interim city manager.
Yes, absolutely. So as many of you know, we posted and we're recruiting for a interim city manager that would help us in the next several months to continue the operations and the governance of the city. And so after a long process, the hiring committee comprised of Councilmember Marroquin and Mayor Pro Tem Carter. And after several interviews, the council decided to choose Mr. Daniel Paramo to serve as our incoming interim city manager. So welcome aboard, sir. Is there any, would you like to offer a few comments?
Just thank you very much for this opportunity. It's a blessing for myself. I've come, as I explained to some folks, I come full circle because I actually started my career with the city of Centro way back in the day. And I actually saw the construction of the city managers or the building next door. So that's how far back I go. So I'm just very excited to do this, and obviously anything I can do to assist is exactly what I'll do, is just continue following the direction of the city council and obviously work with all the department heads. So thank you for the opportunity.
Perfect.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Paramo. We look forward to working with you as well. And certainly you have a few days left to absorb any and all information from Mr. Cesenia. And I know that he is affording himself to you during the transition time. So thank you very much. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Next, we move on to, does that conclude, Madam City Attorney?
There are no further reportable actions.
Perfect, thank you. Next, members, we move on to public comment. This is the portion in which the City Council, ladies and gentlemen, welcomes your input. At this time, members of the public may address the City Council on any matter not listed on the posted agenda. Pursuant to the Brown Act, no action will be taken on any issue brought forth under public comments. We ask that you please complete a speaker slip and submit it to the city clerk prior to the meeting, or you may do so at this time. Although you are not required to identify yourself, this information on the speaker slip does assist the mayor that all persons wishing to address the council are recognized. Unless the mayor extends the time, 3 minutes will be allotted to each person for each presentation. Please note that we reserve the right to review any visual aids, so please make sure that you show any visual aids that will be used during your public comment to the city clerk. And so as of right now, I have received 3 public comment slips. Is there anybody else going once, going twice, participating remotely? Madam City Clerk, is there anybody?
No, none, Mayor.
Okay, great. So I will go first with Mr. Peter Rodriguez.
Good evening, Osaka City Council. Welcome, City Manager Danny Panama. I sent an email to you, Mayor Tomas. Granted, we had a discussion a few minutes ago and you claimed you had not received it. I sent it with good faith. There would be communication back. I gave you a week to respond. You didn't respond. And that's on you. It didn't come back to me. I checked my spam. I check daily. So I know it got sent. Maybe it got lost in your emails. You have probably hundreds and thousands. You guys are busy people. I just send my requests. Generally, I rarely do this, but mostly when I do it, I get a response, and your city staff has always been responsive to me. Now, that's just where it lays. Now, on the good news, after 102 days, the IED has finally gave me some good news, a copy of their ECA and the rate stabilization fund. Now, for those who want to know, just briefly, the first fund, $60,814,398. The next fund, the over collection, $63,910,740. I waited 102 days for this document to be given to me. It was a public record request. Now, this is serious because, as you know, there are timelines to be met. Most governments and Imperial County are very timely with me. Well, 2 days, 3 days. No one's ever gone 4 days. Right now, Brawley's on the timeline of 7 days. They got 3 more days to respond to me, right? Which is okay. I'm not in a rush of that. That's what I want. But at the same time, it was a big win for not for myself, but for you guys as ratepayers. Now you know the paper has the photo. Whether they run the story or not, and or questions associated with that fund balance is up to the newspaper. I did my part. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Next, we move on to Ms.
Sorry.
3
Sorry
minutes.
about that.
I thought it was someone's ringtone on their phone.
I thought it was mine.
You know, have you ever seen those those GAFTA gift cards or whatever that you open up a card and it
Yeah.
never go silent? And that's part of the prank, right? I thought that's what was happening to you. Like, good luck turning that off, right? So apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Next, we move on to Tara Malcolm.
Hello. Hi, class. How are you?
Hello.
Congratulations, Claudia. How are you? I just want to come. My name is Tara Malcolm. I'm the president of Trusted Home Health here in the Imperial Valley. I'm also the director of the Imperial County Physicians Group Medical Group, and I'm also the clinic director for ICPMG as well. I came here just to formally invite you to our grand opening tomorrow. We're having a huge grand opening in front of our new facility. I know you guys are aware of the old Verizon building and the Vaughn Shopping Center. We will be there at 6 o'clock. Dinner starts at 7. So I want to formally invite you guys, and I don't know if I can approach and give you guys these.
Can you pass it to our city clerk, please?
Yeah,
She'll
I'll do it
pass
on
them
the
out.
way
Yeah.
out. So
Awesome.
I would love for you guys to join us. It would be an honor. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Malcolm. Appreciate it. All right, so next, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to our last public comment speaker slip, which is from Cher Cowie.
Good evening, Mayor Oliva and esteemed council members. I'm here on behalf of the Imperial Valley Regional Chamber of Commerce, and I would like to recognize City Manager Cedric Cesena for his time as city manager. We would like to thank you for everything that you've done to collaborate with us on events throughout the city and just for your assistance to our business community.
I totally was not expecting.
You were.
Yeah, we saw the expression on your face.
You want me to move?
Photobomb.
Thank you.
Don't print that one, Joselito. Don't print that one. You know it's gonna end up in front of this review meeting. Being like this. Don't do that. Of course, of course.
Obviously, I'd like to thank the chamber. When you come into the position, you don't realize how many people you get to work with. And most definitely, you don't get to pick your bosses, right? But what I will say is, collaborating with the chamber has been, it's been an enlightening experience for me, right? I had the opportunity to look at very many different people and also meet a lot of businesses and business owners here in the city of El Centro who are now thriving, and that is a great thing to see. So thank you. Totally surprised here. One of the things that this being my last meeting, and I know it has to be a short one, sir, but you don't get to pick your bosses. But I'll tell you that I've been blessed with a great group of people to work with, and so far, what I see from Councilmember Elliott and Councilmember Camarena, I think things are going to be good for the city of El Centro. But going back to those who are no longer sitting up here and those who are still sitting here, I want you to know that I'm extremely thankful, humbled, and I feel privileged to have had served alongside of you guys. You guys have made a highlight of my career a reality. So, with that, I will tell you that when I was given that opportunity, I don't think any of us knew how well I was going to do or how bad I was going to do. I hope that I did good enough, for you. And, to my department heads, I never refer to them as that because they're not mine. I think they were borrowed. But they have been the most incredible group of people, the most hardworking and dedicated individuals. And every single employee of the city of El Centro, I'm proud of because I believe that they're the people that actually make the city of El Centro a great place to work and a family as such. So thank you. And see you later.
Thank you so much, Cher, for recognizing our city manager. Very much appreciated. So, Cedric, just note that I will ask my colleagues to reserve their comments towards the end, if that's okay with you.
No, it's fine.
No. Okay, so you can compose yourself for now, and then we'll come back. But thanks again. All right, members, seeing no other public comment, both here physically present or remote, we'll go ahead and close the public comment and move on now to the consent agenda. So the consent agenda, members, consists of items 1 through 6, which, as you all know, but just for the purposes of the public, any member of the council can request to pull an item and have it discussed separately. But if there is no need to pull an item and have it discussed separately, then the council can make a motion to approve the entire agenda, the entire consent agenda, which in this case includes items 1 through 6. So if there are no questions, members, go ahead and entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I give a motion for items 1 through 6 for the consent agenda.
We have a motion to approve the consent calendar from Mayor Pro Tem Carter.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Marroquin. Madam Clerk, if you could please call the roll.
Councilmember Elliott,
Yes.
Councilmember Camarena,
Yes.
Councilmember Marroquin,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Carter,
Yes.
Mayor Oliva,
Yes.
5-0.
Perfect. So items 1 through 6 is adopted with a 5-0 vote. Next, members, we move on to new business. This is item number 7, discussion and any necessary action regarding service area plan update. And the presentation will be done by Angel Hernandez, our Director of Community Development.
found it. Sorry about that delay. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the council. The item before you is for your consideration is the 2024 Service Area Plan. This is a document that's requested by the Local Agency Formation Commission, otherwise known as the AFCO, and they're a countywide agency that approves annexations to of territories into cities in Imperial County, among other responsibilities. And one of the requirements for whenever they consider an annexation is to see if the city has an updated service area plan. The city of Centro's previous one was last updated in 2016, so it does need to be updated. And as I mentioned, this is needed for future annexations. And just to put in a sentence, this is a document that demonstrates the intent and capacity for the city to handle additional growth of annexed areas. And just how the city, likewise the city and AFCO also wants to be assured that whenever they hear these kinds of requests for annexations, that there is capacity for the city to service this area. So this slide kind of gives you overall framework of the plan. So it does assume a 10-year planning horizon from 2025 to 2035. And in there is a projected population increase of up to 52,000. Now, this is kind of a upward kind of limit of what's the realm possibility, but we do have to plan for that eventual growth. And these are based on projections from SCAG. So in the map on the right, you see a map of the city of Centro. The area outlined in the black line, those are the existing city limits. The area in yellow and outlined in the dashed line, that's our sphere of influence. So those are the areas that in our general plan we plan for, in our service area we plan for, and the areas that are basically designated for the city to annex. And the document, the meat and potatoes of the documents are a discussion regarding 9 different services that the city provides, and it goes over performance standards. It goes over facility planning and adequacy, how those services and facilities are funded, and also it provides some mitigations or otherwise known as recommendations. So I'll be going over those 9 aspects of the city services. One thing I do want to point out is this document is preliminarily made for LAFCO. It's based on their guidelines. So there might be some performance standards that are basically meet the parameters of this document for their consideration. You know, there might be some performance standards that don't necessarily reflect the priorities of different services or of the different facilities that I'm going to be mentioning. Okay, so to start off is general government facilities. So these are the buildings that in the City Hall complex, the building next door where the community service is located at. And the document does have a performance standard of 500 to 600 square feet per 1,000 residents, and a staff ratio of 0.75 to 1 staff members per 1,000 residents. So the existing facilities, they total around 26,000 square feet, and this includes the City Hall complex. Some public works staff is also housed here, HR, council chambers, and community service building to our east. Based on the service area plan, there's no need for expansion considering the projected population increase. However, this is assuming improvements of technology, new staff, and other facility enhancements that could accommodate additional growth. And funding for these are usually generated from user fees and development impact fees. So the next section is drainage or stormwater facilities. We do have standards to overall when a property is proposed to be developed that they prevent flood conditions during a 10-year storm event, among other requirements that the city needs to meet for local agencies and also national and state agencies that monitor stormwater facilities. So we do have a master plan of drainage that was done in 2009, and in there did have 10 basically facilities, storm drain facilities that do have inadequate capacity. So we will continue to implement those recommendations. And I think important to note, because this document is mostly looking at growth, is whenever we receive projects, we ensure that they meet the meet the city requirements for providing adequate drainage and stormwater facilities. And that's gonna be a theme for a lot of these sections. Whenever a new project is annexed or developed, we do make sure that they meet the needs of existing city requirements. And funding for this is, for the most part, like I mentioned, development driven. So the developer would be installing stormwater lines. Also, the city does collect money from general fund and development impact fees. And also, the city does have one community facility district that does fund for some stormwater improvements. Fire facilities. So there are performance standards in the surface area plan regarding fire facilities, and overall, it's to meet the 90% response time for services and to have a minimum of 10 sworn personnel available at all times. Overall, the existing facilities are adequate. One thing I do want to mention is the document does highlight a plan to replace Fire Station 1. This is the older fire station in the center of town. There have been preliminary studies to meet that requirement, to move forward with that project. And another aspect that was noted is if there's further development in kind of the southwestern corner of town, there would be the need to establish a fourth fire station to make sure that the response times still meet our performance standards. Funding for these facilities are from general fund, development impact fees, and user fees. Law enforcement. So there's several performance standards regarding law enforcement. There's a current ratio of 1.2 officers for every 1,000 residents, and we do have our police building that's currently under construction. The document does cite as population grows, that there would be a continually demand for more personnel, more services, so more personnel and more vehicles, and that includes sworn personnel and non-sworn personnel. And also depending on where growth is located, possibly the location of substations or other facilities in the northern or southern portions of that sphere of influence area that I mentioned earlier. And funding from these facilities come from general fund, development impact fees, user fees, and certain instances grants. Library facilities. So these are performance standards that, as I kind of mentioned earlier, we provide these performance standards based on the guidelines that LAFCO gave us. But as the technology changes, these may not be appropriate for some of these facilities. The case in point is the library. A lot of times there's a greater emphasis in technology providing those services. So the existing facility that was constructed in 2022 is 20,000 square feet, and there's also a literacy center that recently opened at the community center, and that's about 1,000 square feet. And to meet the projected demand in 2035, assuming the 52,000 population growth, we would have the adequate space. There would be possibly a need to consider more volumes in the catalog. However, there was kind of discussion in the plan regarding the prevalence of electronic books and whether that's still an adequate standard to uphold. And the service area plan did mention that with these new services, there might be a need for additional staff for educational library services. The funding for these types of service and projects come from general fund, development impact fees, user fees, and in certain cases, grants. Parks and recreation facilities. So we do have one of our performance centers is maintaining 3 acres of park space for every 1,000 residents. The existing facilities are composed of 148 acres of park space, 12 acres of community and recreational facilities. Those are facilities like the skate park, the aquatic center, some of the facilities along Adams Avenue. There would be a need of additional 4.5 acres to meet that performance standard if the population does increase to the projected amount by 2035. And the city will continue to require that as development comes in, that they do allocate enough area for parks in neighborhoods. And there's also a mention that to update the Parks and Recreational Master Plan, which was last updated in 2008. And funding for these services come from the general fund, grants, development impact fees. Some of these projects are also funded through landscape and lighting maintenance districts and user fees. Circulation facilities. So this is goes over our transportation network. We do have a performance standard of maintaining a level service C. So that's in a sentence, that's basically how congested roads and intersections could be. And there's also additional performance standards of vehicle miles traveled. So that's another measure that's relatively new that would like to maintain smaller distances between where people live and people work. So that's another standard that was incorporated in the service area plan. And overall, the existing facilities are adequate and they meet the performance standard. And as future demand comes in, we do require development to make the improvements as needed to mitigate any type of congestion that they might generate from the development. And there's also a need to potentially develop a transportation impact fee program to fund system-wide improvements. So funding from these services come from the general fund, development impact fees, Measure D, and also landscape and lighting maintenance districts. So for the last three, wastewater facilities. So the performance standards is to maintain engineering standards to ensure that there's enough slope in all lines, capacity at lift stations at other facilities, and that they provide adequate service to every customer. So the current wastewater treatment plant on the Brewster Avenue operates at 43% capacity. It is rated to go up to 8 million gallons per day. Currently it's at 3.4. Future demand would be accommodated through the Southern Pump Station project, improvements from development. So if developer comes in, they would need to provide improvements to service their development. System improvements identified in the sewer master plan update, which I think is going to be started next year. And there would be a need to consider expansion whenever that plant reaches 80% capacity. Funding from this comes from customer fees, the wastewater enterprise fund, updated wastewater rate study, and potentially enhanced infrastructure financing districts. Water facilities, very similar to the previous section. The city has capacity of 21 million gallons per day. The average demand and maximum demand are well within those limits. And looking at the projection for 2035, we have the sufficient capacity and conveyance to meet to continue providing those water to growth. And funding from these facilities come from the water capacity fees, water enterprise funds, and water stabilization fund, as well as water rates. These, in addition to the city provides services, the previous service area plan, LAFCO, required us to have some discussion regarding school facilities, even though the city is not inherently responsible for building facilities. As you may know, there's 4 school districts that are within the city limits. The vast majority of the students go to 3 of these districts. And when we look at capacity, this is basically based on information reports that the school districts provide to the state regarding basically classrooms that are built and how many students that are enrolled during a given year. And according to those reports, right now, Central Elementary School District facilities are over capacity. So I know they do have plans in their construction to construct a new elementary school in the Victoria Ranch neighborhood to mitigate that. McCabe Union School District is adequate, even though they did identify that the elementary school is beyond capacity. But for instance, the Lotus Ranch subdivision, they do have an area that is potentially designated for a school for McCabe. And Central Union High School district facilities are also over capacity, but they do have site allocated for a third high school whenever they plan on commissioning that. And as I mentioned, the Central Elementary School District, they're currently constructing a new elementary school in the Victoria Ranch subdivision. McCabe Union School District plans on additional schools to accommodate growth. As I mentioned, the Lewis Ranch subdivision, is already planned and approved, does have an area that that's designated for a school district, a school site for McCabe. The Central Union High School District also plans an additional high school to campus to accommodate growth. And the city will continue to work with the school districts whenever we receive development to look at the inclusion of the school site if any of these thresholds that they have are met. And regarding parks and recreation facilities, we do have joint use agreements with some of these school districts for using their facilities. And the funding that schools receive are from state funding, local property taxes, and they do charge their own impact fees. So concerning that, assuming that the council approves the service area plan tonight, we do estimate that this would go before FAFCO in February of next year. So with that, staff recommends that the council adopt the resolution before you, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there any member of the public that wishes to ask a question related to this item? Seeing none, members of the council, are there any questions for Angel related to item number 7? Yes, go for it.
I do have, Mr. Hernandez, so going back to the slide of, that outlines the growth in terms of schools. So do they have to, like, for example, CUH at the district, would they then have to, if they plan to build another school, would they have to identify the site within the city where they plan to do that, or how?
Well, there we have it's my understanding, there we have a school site or a property required.
Okay.
It's currently outside city limits, but it's within their operating area.
Oh.
And one thing to consider is if they would open a new school, that would relieve capacity and provide more capacity for the schools that are inside the limits.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions, members? If not, we will entertain a motion related to item number 7. And Madam City Clerk, this is resolution number 24-124.
124. I'm so sorry, 104.
104, thank you. All right, so members, this is a resolution of the City Council of the City of El Centro approving the 2024 service area plan prepared for LAFCO.
I will motion.
The motion is made by Councilmember Marroquin,
I'll second.
second by Mayor Pro Tem Carter. Madam Clerk, if you could please call the vote.
Councilmember Elliott,
Yes.
Councilmember Camarena,
Yes.
Councilmember Marroquin,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Carter,
Yes.
Mayor Marroquin. I'm so sorry, Mayor Oliva. Sorry.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Yes.
The motion
Thank you.
passes 5-0.
Perfect, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez, appreciate it. Next, we move on to item number 8, approval of the memorandum of understanding between the El Centro Fire Department and Imperial County Public Health for ARPA-funded emergency medical reporting system upgrades. Presentation by Chief Bernal. Chief?
Good morning, Mayor, or good morning. She said Mayor Marroquin, now I'm saying good morning, my goodness. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So the item you have before you is the approval of a memorandum of understanding between the Fire Department and the Imperial County Public Health Department in order to enhance the electronic medical reporting of the Fire Department. Purpose of the MOU is to formalize the collaboration to upgrade the electronic medical reporting system with funding provided through the county through their ARPA funds. The project will ensure compliance with federal, state, and local medical reporting standards, improving our emergency medical response. And then the funding, as I mentioned, is going to be provided to some degree from the county's ARPA funds. They're going to reimburse us up to $31,898 for an upgrade that, quite honestly, we've already done. This upgrade from the fire department was completed in December of last year, so we're approaching a year, I think, on Thursday since we've implemented this program. So the key project objectives include the efficiency, which is the support of the real-time data collection, The enhanced compliance, again, in this case specifically with CHEMSIS compliance, which is the California Emergency Medical Services Information System. So that upgraded and that required us to move to a contemporary system that is in compliance and can speak to that system in order for us to upload the information on our call responses. It also strengthens quality assurance. So for the last year, since we've made this and implemented this upgrade, we do monthly QA, quality assurance, quality improvement with the County of Imperial Public Health Department. And this MOU just kind of formalizes that. And then it also indicates some things such as staff training. Again, much of this, which has already been done because we have already transitioned to this system as of December of last year. So basically what I bring before you is just to approve this resolution to accept and get into the agreement with the MOU with the County Public Health Department, so we are eligible to receive this almost $32,000. Again, we've already implemented it. We've already incurred some of this cost. This will just go in a nice way to help offset some of the costs that we've incurred moving over to the system. If you don't have any questions, that's going to be the end of my presentation on this MOU.
All right, thank you, Chief Bernal. Members, we don't have any public comment slips on this item, so bring it back to council. Any questions for Chief Bernal related to this item? Seeing none, is there a motion to, should we entertain the will of the body for item number 8?
I will make that motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Marroquin. Motions. I will second. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Elliott?
Yes.
Councilmember Camarena?
Yes.
Councilmember Marroquin?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Carter?
Yes.
Mayor Oliva?
Yes, that item.
Passes 5-0.
Thank you. Perfect. Thank
Thank you,
you. And that is Resolution 24-105.
Correct.
All right. So next, item number 9, the award of the 2024 Community Development Block Grant Sidewalk and ADA Curb Ramp Improvement Project presentation by our Public Works Director and City Engineer, Abraham Campos. Abraham, go for it.
Hi, good evening, honorable mayor and council members. I have an item before you to add some needed sidewalks and curb ramps to various areas on the city of Centro here. This is a CDBG funded project. CDBG is limited to a certain area of town outlined here by the yellow hatch. This is the area where CDBG funding can be expended. We have taken and done in-house design to come up with a project for sidewalk replacements, new curb ramps replacement, and curb ramps for your corner ADA ramps. A lot of the areas of town do not have ADA access. This is in a lot of the older areas of town, the south, the east, and southwest. Those are the areas that are missing ramps. And so when you go to a corner, they have just a curb, so there's no way to get down. This will help address some of these areas. It's a continuation of efforts from prior projects and where we're getting back into this area. The areas targeted are generally between McGee Park and Gomez Park in one area. The other one is by the Ansa Elementary, and the other one is by Harding Elementary and Starkville Park. So the goal here was try to get areas that connect points and are in different areas of town here. So this constructs approximately 41 intersection ramps that I mentioned, 1,920 linear feet of new or reconstructed sidewalk, and 20 driveways that are basically missing or provide a continuous path of travel on sidewalks. Just as a blow up between, as I mentioned, between McGee and Gomez Park, quite a few of the ramps that will be performed here on Fairfield, Hope, and McCollum in this area. For Area 2 on the southeast of the ANSA, there's 10 new ADA ramps in this area, which are really close here to the elementary school. And Area 3 here again, close to between Starkfield and Harding Elementary, quite a bit of missing sidewalks and some ramps as well in this area. The project was opened we received bids for the project on November 14th. We had 2 bidders, both from out of town. None of the locals applied or submitted a bid for this one. We had one from Martin Construction and one for Savvy Construction. We reviewed the bids, find that both can have the bid awarded. Martin Construction is a low bidder. Knowing that they're new to town, we did reach out to references to see what type of work they've done, and similar work has been done from them from other agencies. Martin Construction specifically is from the LA area. They have worked with AT&T in replacing sidewalk panels, and as AT&T does work in Beverly Hills and other areas in LA. So we believe that will be adequate for this project, and we are proposing to award to Morgan Construction. The funding for this, as I mentioned, is through CDBG. There's $626,686 assigned to it. The gap is $126,188. You'll notice that it adds up to the more than 684 because I'm asking for 752,000. That's because it includes a typical 10% contingency to allow for unforeseens. That will very likely be used up as whenever we go to existing facilities, we always find things that we did not know as we start replacing old stuff and replacing it with new ones. So that's the 10% construction contingency that will allow us to address any unforeseens on the construction site. I am working with Adriana and her team as there may be additional CDBG funding available for sidewalks. Should that be the case, that would reduce the impact on Measure P, and I would be coming back to council to amend the budget proposal here to utilize more of that CDBG is available, freeing up that Measure P for other projects. With that, I'm looking for our staff recommendation is to award the bid as presented.
All right, members, I have no speaker slip for public comment, so we move back to council. If there are any questions for Mr. Campos. Can you go back one slide, please? See that, okay. Can I also, 752 is?
626 plus 10% of that, and I should have wrote that. Plus basically 62,000 on top of the 684. The base bid 684 plus another 68,000 as a 10% to get to the 752.
Got it. So 752 is 110% of 684. Got it. Okay. Oh, please.
Mr. Campos, would any of this funding also allow for some sidewalk repairs, or is just simply for the ADA ramp installations?
Both.
Oh, both.
So it
Great.
does account for both areas. For example, all these dots are in the middle.
Mhm.
So that would mean that there's either a gap of sidewalk or sidewalk is in such terrible shape that it will be replaced. This is for severe sidewalks. You might have noticed today at around lunchtime, a lot of noise in the area. We have another project that's going on yesterday, today, and tomorrow where contractors grinding and cleaning up the tripping hazards. So that's a separate project on top of this one, which I'll be presenting an update on that one probably in the next one.
Thank you.
When are you looking to start this project?
If we get an award today, it'll take probably the holidays to get the project going and the paperwork done. So probably February, by February. It'll take January to go through the paperwork.
Thank you.
Abraham, the Measure P monies that you're asking, was that part of the money that was previously allocated by council? Or is that an additional ask?
It's less than what's allocated by council.
That's perfect. All right. I see no other questions, members. Also, if there's a will of the body, is there a motion for this item?
I will motion.
Okay, the motion is made by Councilmember Marroquin. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Mayor Pro Tem Carter. Madam Clerk, if you could please call the vote.
Councilmember Elliott,
Yes.
Councilmember Camarena,
Yes.
Councilmember Marroquin,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Carter,
Yes.
Mayor Oliva.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. And that was for resolution number 24-106. All right, next we move on to item number 10. Members, on item number 10, you were handed a very childishly written committee assignment, but I hope you forgive me because we went ahead and the Mayor Pro Tem and I sat down to complete this right before this meeting as we were getting everyone's request. And so we very much appreciate all of you sending us your requests. And so hopefully that this is something that you accept as my recommendation for our committee assignments for 2025. So I would ask for a motion and a second to approve committee appointments as it was passed out to you.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Carter,
I will second.
a second by Councilmember Marroquin. Madam Clerk, if you can please call the vote.
Councilmember Ellett,
Yes.
Councilmember Camarena,
Yes.
Councilmember Marroquin,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Carter,
Yes.
Mayor Oliva.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, colleagues. Appreciate it. Next, we move on to the conversation. Item number 11, which is the potential canceling of the January 7th, 2025 City Council meeting. And so this has a lot of implications. As you know, the week before is very close to a holiday. And so staff tends to ask for some time off. And if they're off, then we can't prepare for the meeting. And so traditionally, members, we do tend to forego the first meeting of the month. That allows us to attend other obligations that we couldn't necessarily do because we are here. And so the request from myself and from staff is to forego the meeting on January 7th. What is the will of the body? Are there any comments and questions from council?
So we would, I'm sorry,
No,
just
go
had
for
a
it.
delayed reaction here. So we would then ratify Mr. Baramos
On the 21st.
on the 21st? Okay, already, perfect. Okay.
Yes. So seeing no other questions and comments, members, if we can have a motion to approve the intent of this body to cancel the January 7th meeting, which means that we will reconvene on January 21st.
So I will move to cancel the January 7th meeting.
All right, so we have a motion by Marroquin. We have a second by Mayor Pro Tem Carter. Madam Clerk, if you could please call the roll.
Councilmember Ellett,
Yes.
Councilmember Camarena,
Yes.
Councilmember Marroquin,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Carter,
Yes.
Mayor Oliva.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Staff, make smart choices. Enjoy the new year. All right, so next, members, we move on to legislative action. There are no items to discuss related to legislative action, so informational items are for your review. Lastly, members, we will be on task force reports. I will ask members, this is now where we give a report to each other on any committees, meetings, community events that we've gone to kind of inform each other as to what we will be doing. And so I will start to my left. Councilmember Camarena, would you like to say anything?
I don't have anything to report at this time.
No problem. Thank you so much, Councilmember Marroquin.
Well, so December, I guess, has probably the most favorite events of the year, the Christmas tree lighting ceremony. I can't thank Mrs. Adriana Nava and all of her team at the Parks and Recreation Department and all of the public works personnel that helped with that event. The tree is beautiful. And I think the community was really just pleased with, the entire event. I got so many compliments on the work that you all did. The use of the first responders park just made it, and I know I've said this before, but I felt like I was in a Hallmark movie where they've got all these little Christmas festivals, but that's what it was like. So it was just fantastic. And so Cedric and I were the co-hosts for that event. And so we were up on stage, just kind of cheering all those groups on. So it was a lot of fun. So thank you so much. And then, of course, the next day, the Christmas parade, that goes without saying. And then, of course, our reorganization meeting last week, that was something that was very touching. And so, as I had said before, it was an honor to have served as the mayor for the past year. And really, I need a rest. And so we passed the gavel on to Mayor Oliva. And then I also was in attendance at the Imperial Light Parade. And so that too is a very popular event in the Valley. And so that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilmember Marroquin. Councilmember Ellett, do you have anything you'd like to share?
I too was at the Christmas tree lighting, and it's amazing how well attended, how big it is with so many vendors. And then to have the high schools and their bands playing is very encouraging to have them there and be involved as well. And of course, the parade is always a big deal. not rivalry, but when I was a kid, the cattle call parade was the parade. You could go almost anywhere in California and they knew what the cattle call parade was. And now it seems like it is the El Centro parade, the Christmas parade is really something. So yes, great events.
Awesome. Does that conclude your report, sir?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Mayor Pro Tem.
I will echo my colleagues on the Christmas lighting and the Christmas parade. Very nice event. But I want to spend my time on focusing on visiting the day center with Angel Hernandez. Thank you. I want to thank you for that. We went to the day center and we spent about 2 hours there talking to the employees, visiting the day center. I got a tour of the kitchen, a tour of the whole facility, and just to see how they get to wash their clothes and just to see the areas that they get to utilize. And it was a very nice tour. So thank you for that. And also, I do want to express how I was a part of the IBEW and the local unions. We had the honor Saturday of giving out for the Imperial Valley annual food and toy drive. That's always touches my heart because you see the kids in the car and they're, and you know, we're taking them toys, but then they're like, no, I want that one. Can I have that one instead? So you're going back and you're changing stuff just so you can give the kids exactly what they want, just to see the smile on their face. So that was a very nice event too. So, and the reorg, very nice event as well. And that concludes, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Greatly appreciated. Colleagues, I don't have much to report on myself, but I certainly want to just take this opportunity to inform the general public and to remind them that Santa Claus is partnering with our fire department this week to visit certain portions of our community. And so we're calling it Santa's Rockin' Journey throughout El Centro. Every night, starting at 5:30, you could see a Santa Claus being on our fire truck. And so we're thankful that he's affording himself during this time to be able to spread some cheer to our residents. And so it started on Sunday and will end this upcoming Saturday. The last Saturday will be at the Imperial Valley Mall. Please check our social media pages for maps and more information. The Community Services Department, Parks and Recreation Division has also updated their winter programs. So we have Frosty Future Leaders, Jump, Tumble, and Dance, Frosty Fest Camp. And these programs, as well as others, are designed for children ages 3 to 13 to keep them active during the winter break. So please call our Parks and Recreations Department at 760-337-4570 or look at our social media page for more information. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, our City Hall will close at noon on December 24th. And will be closed all day on December 25th. And I would imagine that that would also hold half day on New Year's Eve, December 31st, and will be closed all day on January 1st. And so as we close the last official meeting, last standing meeting of the year, we just want to say on behalf of the council, on behalf of your staff, the people that work for you every day, we wish you all a very Merry Christmas to you and yours. Please spend this time being happy and merry with your friends and family and stay safe while you're creating those beautiful memories with each other. So
Yes.
Happy holidays, everyone. God bless. And lastly, we will send it to our city manager for his closing out.
If he steps out.
Thank you, sir. I don't have a whole lot. I mean, it was a lot of fun, really, to be at all the events that have come up. So mostly everything has been already mentioned. The one event that our PIO, Mario Renteria, and myself got to attend yesterday was the unveiling of the City of Imperial's welcome sign. They offered to rent us the other side of it so we can have a City of El Centro welcome sign. So maybe we can work a deal out with them. But, they have a new sign at Threshold and Highway 86 where, they're welcoming people into their city. So we were present for that event. Outside of that, this is my last meeting with you all. Earlier I failed to mention why I called you guys my department heads, and I'll tell you why. The reason is that you guys have become my friends, and for that, I greatly appreciate every one of you guys. You have no idea the incredible team that you guys are.
I hope you do. But from me to you, I share with you how incredible you, each and every one of you guys are, and the hard work and dedication that, you put forward. I took, the time to make sure that I closed out all the evaluations on all of you guys, so you guys are all good. But I want you to know that the words that I put into those evaluations were truly meaningful. I hope they were meaningful to you because they meant everything to me. The work you guys did, the work you guys have done and continue to do is what makes El Centro the place that continues to shine with opportunities. So thank you.
So Cedric, I mentioned that I reserved the right to at the very end, and so that everyone knows, I was trying to get through our meeting as quickly as possible, because as you know, Councilmember Elliot's wife is being sworn in just a couple of minutes, not too far away from here, and so we wanted to make sure that we gave him that courtesy. But since he stepped out, I'm gonna slow down a little bit and just take this moment, because I won't have it back, to be able to publicly say that it has been an honor to work with you, Cedric. You stepped up when we needed you to. You were probably very scared. I still remember that day where I drove over to Station 3, asked to meet with you, and just kind of plopped it on your lap. We need you to step up. And whether you were ready and whether you had that tingling feeling in the back of your mind, like, I need to talk to my wife first kind of thing, right? You certainly did. And I will forever be grateful that you did us that favor and that you provided such great work to the residents. I really, truly hope that you don't resent me for having asked you to step up. I hope that the residents of El Centro appreciate the work that you gave. And it's difficult to say goodbye, and so I won't. I'll see you around, and I'll see you soon. But certainly, truthfully and sincerely wanted to say thank you for it. And I will always cherish the years that you gave and the time that we got to spend together. And this being the second time that we got to spend some work together, because the first time I met Cedric was when he hired me in 2010 to campaign for Measure H in Calexico. So he was the Firefighters Association president at the time, and I had just come back from Sacramento working in the Capitol, and I was looking for a job, and so I campaigned on behalf of Measure P, and so that's how I first met Cedric. Was it 14 years ago? Now, man, 14 years ago. That's crazy. But then here we are again, right, being able to work. And so I hopefully, with other turns around the sun, that we find ourselves working together again. So thank you again. Colleagues, is there anybody else? If not, seeing none, all
I would
righty.
just like to say thank you to Cedric for your leadership, just taking me coming in as a new council member and you were coming in as a new city manager, and we worked it out together, and I appreciate everything that you did, and I wish you the best. This is not goodbye, but this is see you later.
That's right. And so as we about to, did you want to say something? Oh, absolutely, yeah,
also-
please.
Cedric, I would just like to thank you, for stepping up to the plate to help us lead this city. And you have been through some really bad times with us and some good times with us. And, you never backed down from the challenges that we were facing. And for that, I really admire all of the, the tenacity and the courage that you had to help us along the way. So I truly appreciate, not only, the hard work and your dedication, to the city of El Centro, but also, to the friendships that we've developed. And so I really, truly appreciate that. I wish you, much success in your new endeavor. I know you're going back to your true love. And so he already has his wife, but it's just like, but that, maybe I should have said his second true love, it's just like, but we will miss you. Thank you.
Yes, Chief.
You're gonna make me cry. So honorable mayor and members of council, I wasn't planning on coming up here, but I feel compelled to do so because under Cedric's leadership, we really have grown as a team, department heads.
And I will tell you that I have no doubt, but I'm certainly hopeful that Mr. Paramo can fill the shoes that Cedric leaves behind. Cedric set an example for the city, for the department heads. He was demanding of us, but also appreciative and understanding as needed. He allowed us to do our jobs. He allowed us to do them professionally and held us to the standards that were required by the citizens of this community. And so for that, I just wanted to come forward and thank you for selecting Cedric a couple of years ago to be our department head leader. Cedric, you know you're more than a friend. We're going to be enemies now that you're going back to the fire department. So we're going to, we may have to box or something. And maybe we'll do like a tug of war contest or something. But,
we can talk about a couple of donuts.
with the stick of licorice or something, I truly had some of the best times of my career, bar none, under his leadership. And to lose a leader within the city, although he's moving on to something that is his passion, it's certainly understandable. It is a loss for us. And again, I know that Mr. Paramo is going to come in here and bring great leadership and move us forward. Sure, you have some big shoes to fill, at least as a department head in the city. You'll rise to the occasion, I'm sure, just as Cedric did. But Cedric, it was a pleasure working with you. I never really felt like I worked for you because you were supportive along the way the entire time. So from the police department, I think I can speak for my fellow department heads in saying thank you so much for everything you did and your leadership, your guidance, being the sounding board and the voice of reason at times. So thank you for that and best wishes in the future, Godspeed. Thank you. Thank you, man.
I try not to cry in public, but I'll tell you that I hear Betsy over here say something. I'll tell you one thing. It's interesting that we've gone full circle, Mayor Oliva. When you came looking for me, you were the mayor, and now that I'm leaving, you're the mayor. And I walk away with having made some great friends on both sides, on this side of the house as well as with our department heads. It was a true honor and privilege for me to serve the citizens of El Centro. If you would have asked that kid, that punk rock kid out of Calexico, that he was going to be the city manager of El Centro, he would have told you there's no way. So, with that being said, I also mentioned that Betsy and I were like superheroes at one point, and I'll tell you that one is I think I called her Robin, but I think it's Batman and the Joker, and I'm the Joker. With I knew she was going to say that, but ultimately it's I hope it's not a see you later, because if you guys get to see me, something bad really happened. In the next position that I'll be, filling in. But one thing for sure, you can pick up the phone and I will always answer your phone call, no matter what time of the day it is. Just like you grew accustomed to calling and having somebody answer that phone for you. Absolutely. And I'll tell you one thing, with Mr. Paramo, earlier today, we discussed some parallels or some similarities in that our fathers didn't get to see us become city managers. That's about the only thing I regret. Thank you.
One more time.
I'm going to stand up for him. I think the rest of you should too.
Taking pictures of me crying.
Gonna sell more newspapers. Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you so much. And we look forward to being led by Mr. Paramo moving forward. So thank you once again. So ladies and gentlemen, it is 6:05 and seeing no other business before this body, we are adjourned.